we think we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection, and we are live on the Cageside Press social media platforms and have a loaded show for you today. As always, I'm joined by Eddie Law. But Eddie, we got to get right into the big news from last week before we preview International Fight Week this coming weekend. Jon Jones retires, relinquishes the belt. Tom Aspinall, the new champion. This happened at UFC Baku in the post-fight press conference. Dana didn't even come out and say it on his own. Someone had to ask about the situation, and then he kind of just like threw it out there backhandedly that Jon Jones is, no longer in the UFC. He called him and retired. What'd you make of all this news? And I mean, I got to tell you, I was surprised that it was announced at Baku's post-fight press conference of all things.
I was surprised Dana even went to fucking Baku. That dude seems like he's like skips shit left and right. Because David Shaw, if you guys know David Shaw is the guy that goes up there when the UFC goes overseas or goes to Canada, basically anywhere that isn't the US, right, for the most part, or a big pay-per-view or everything. So for Dana to take the trip to UFC fucking Baku, was interesting. Which, by the way, if you read Kareem Zidane, if you guys look, and again, people hate this dude, Kareem Zidane. I don't. That dude does really good investigative work in the world of MMA, and he investigated and found out Baku's paid the UFC millions of dollars to bring an event, which is hilarious because we're about to talk about the event. Wasn't super exciting, but either way. News comes out. I heard the same question because we were watching it live, whatever. The question comes up, and he goes, "Yeah, Jon Jones called us last night, retired." I'm like, what the fuck?
Out of nowhere.
And it felt to me like a guy that took his ball and went home.
Yes.
That's kind of what it felt like, right?
100%.
Yeah. So that's how I took it at the moment. And then, later news came out. So now we're putting pieces together.
So So after the Dana White comes out with this announcement at UFC Baku post-fight press conference and says Tom Aspinall is now the champion, literally hours later, 4 hours later, it comes out that the Albuquerque Police Department had charged Jon Jones with leaving the scene of a accident. It was suspected that he was driving a car, left a woman that was intoxicated inside the car, who said that Jon Jones was the last person she was with. She thought he was driving the vehicle. Who knows? She could be putting a DWI off on him or something. That's what his lawyers came out and say. But this is a terrible look. And Eddie, there is no way, in my opinion, that Dana White and the UFC did not know about this until news broke on Sunday morning or late Saturday night. I just don't believe that. This event happened in February, and for this to have not gotten up to the UFC brass, I think is highly unlikely. Now, is that the reason why Dana wasn't at these press conferences for like 2 months? And, maybe he was thinking, somebody's going to find out about this sooner rather than later. This is going to be a shit hit the fan situation. Maybe they were hoping that he didn't get charged. I don't know what really the plan was, but Tom Aspinall's father comes out and says that Hunter Campbell texted him and said, Tom is now the champion. And he basically replied to Hunter Campbell and said that this is the worst way you could have done this. It kind of, seems like a slap in the face to the Aspinalls, who wasted a good 2 years of Tom's career sitting and waiting for Jon Jones.
Yeah, it's a massive dick move. But here's the thing. Just rolling it back a little bit to the scene of the crime and all that. Have you seen the video, the body cam?
Yeah, and they call and he starts threatening. Yeah.
So Johnny Bones, we've seen Johnny motherfucking Bones.
Oh, that sounded like him too, Eddie.
Yeah. No. Here's where it gets really, really, really bad. And now delete a tweet, because we know if there's anything that Jon Jones and Conor McGregor, but mostly Jon Jones will do, is tweet shit and delete it. You want to see the dumbest shit? His lawyer is absolutely like suffering through like the worst heartburn of his life. He's definitely gonna go bald from this shit, because this is what this motherfucker posted the other day. Yesterday. He tweeted out, whoever was on the phone with me. Yeah, no, that's today. Sorry. He tweeted way earlier today. Whoever was on the phone with me at first, his timestamp is different. By the time I was acting aggressive on the phone, it was a completely different conversation. I was already in my paranoid and defensive state. Johnny Bones.
Dude, he admits to the crime in the tweet.
If Jon Jones ever commits murder, you ain't going to have to investigate shit. He going to tell you he did it and then delete the tweet. The fuck? So, if anything, now that we could, connect dots and everything, should they be connected? Who knows? We don't have all the facts. But reading between the lines and everything, it looks like Johnny knew that shit was about to hit the fan, doesn't want to deal with it. So what do? You retire, you go away. I'm retired. I'm not answering your questions. Fuck off. right? Now he still has to deal with the the law aspect of this whole thing, right? Having to deal with the courts and all that if it gets that far, because even though we know it's his voice, you and I listen to him enough or have heard him speak enough to know that's his voice. The tweet alone, right? It's still not admissible in court to solidify that it was absolutely him.
And I got to tell you, Eddie, I don't really give two shits about John Jones personally. He could spend 30 years in prison after he's done fighting. If he deserves it, he deserves it. But I care about his fighting career, right? I'm a big fan. He got a lot of people into the sport, especially my age. But here's the deal. When he started out, or when I started out watching and he became champion, defeated Shogun Rua, defeated Lyoto Machida, defeated Rampage Jackson, defeated all these guys who are way older. Daniel Cormier, who was 38 the first time or the second time that they met. I mean, every single guy that threw the ladder down to him did him a service at one point in their career. And then when it's his turn to do the same to Tom Aspinall and give him a little bit of the shine, a little bit of the rub, maybe if he can get a win on him, it's like, oh no, like you said, I'm taking my ball and going home. The average age, I looked this up, Eddie, the average age of a John Jones opponent is 38 years old, the same age that he is today currently.
Damn, I did not know that. So here's the problem with this. Like, not a problem. The thing with this is John Jones. Nobody has accused John Jones of being a decent person except for John Jones. That's the only person, right? Because he fucks up, and next week he's gonna come out in a tweet, be like, "Oh, I made a mistake. I'm a child of God. Jesus Christ."
How many hours till we get a Bible verse?
Hey, hide behind the Bible.
Twitter.
And a new Bible verse fucking tattoo on his face somewhere, right? Like, I'm not shitting on religion whatsoever. What I'm saying is, he uses it the same way other clowns do to hide their bullshit behind the Bible. It's fucking horseshit. So go ahead. Sorry.
I don't really have a point on religion or anything, but I think he uses his religion to mask the bad person that he is or the bad deeds that he does. And I know that the Bible preaches forgiveness and all this stuff, but at the same time, that doesn't give you free reign to go out and do whatever the hell you want to do. So I don't know, but as far as Tom,
we freezing. I think we froze there, Brett. Did we freeze, Brett? Yeah. I'll keep talking until we get him back. So John Jones retires. This news comes out. We don't really know what's true, what's not. We're still working on. Everyone's still trying to put things together. Everything that we have to wait till the courts and the laws, the system, the law process, whatever goes through and everything. They have to prove. Oh, there you are. Do you froze for like a solid 30 seconds?
Yeah, I'm on hotel Wi-Fi, unfortunately.
You're fine. No, so here's the thing about it, about the whole, giving Tom Aspinall his shot. You're absolutely right? But, and I hate to say it, there's no rule, or it's like baseball, right? In baseball, you guys have all kinds of unwritten rules that people get pissed off. Don't flip the bat. Don't fucking watch your home run. Don't take your time running the bases, right? Shit like that. There's no actual rule, but you will get your ass for doing it, right? They'll fight. It's cool, right? But there's no rule for it, right? So if anything, it just shows John Jones literally took his ball and went home. Right now, my theory, this thing blows over with the thing. I don't think they're gonna put him in jail. It's not gonna. He's too damn slippery. Well, no, even that. He gets away with all this kind of shit. It makes no sense, but he gets away with it. I think he gets away with it again. I think Tom Aspinall defends his title against somebody, and then John Jones like, all right, I'm ready to come back and get my title back. And then he fights, gets 30 million, whatever the fuck. But I wish that it'd be the one time that like MMA, that the MMA world would have a moral fucking compass for once. Why do we continue? Why does the MMA world continue to reward these motherfuckers?
Time, and specifically Jones. Time, and I texted you this when this happened on Saturday. This is the biggest spit in the face of all the fight fans who had his back for year after year after year, for steroids, for ruining an event, not fighting Chael Sonnen, who he easily could have beaten, obviously. Oh, yeah. Because he beat him in a round. Didn't do that. What happened with DC, ruining UFC 200, not fighting Ngannou. Then he comes in here and doesn't fight Tom Aspinall, and then it comes out that he's got another arrest situation happening. So it's like, how many times do we have to go to bat for John Jones based on his talent alone? Obviously, he's the best fighter I've ever seen. In any combat sport, he is the best fighter I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, he could have been LeBron James. He ruined his career at 23 years old the first time. He's the only guy to get a Nike sponsorship in the UFC. He's the only guy outside of Anderson Silva to get Burger King or McDonald's or something like that in these corporate entities into our sport. And he ruined it. He could have been the biggest star that this sport's ever seen. And they say Conor McGregor elevated it. John Jones had a chance to elevate it just like he did 5 years prior and couldn't do it because he just shoots himself in the foot every single time he gets a chance to win over the fans and do what's right. He goes out and he beats Tom and he rides off into the sunset. Nobody can say anything to him, but he sits here and continually shoots himself in the foot. And I'm done giving him a pass, to be honest.
No, and no one should really give him a pass. Now, if you're a John Jones fan, like a diehard, right? You're probably, I mean, most of them, I think, would be sitting back going like, damn, like this dude fucking sucks. Right. But you knew it. He's been telling you for years he sucks with his actions. It's been clear. So in terms of his fighting career, I don't care. I've never been one to really care about what we go, oh, no, we need it. I'm not begging a fighter to fight. Who cares? Honestly. Right. Just like Conor McGregor, everyone's been screaming for years. Like, get Conor back. Now it's quiet as shit. No one cares, including the Conor fans, to the point where this dude doesn't even do crazy shit anymore to stay irrelevant because there's no point. Right. John Jones just can't seem to get it a John Jones way. And we've seen it over and over again in other sports. In this one, I mean, I want to say a handful of times, but Japan beat one of them. But the fall from grace when it comes to people like this is usually tragic in the way it ends. And it's something you do not want to see, no matter, even with John. We know about Chandler. You know about Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones went from the Cardinals to the Raiders, and the Raiders, he played well for like a season and then seemingly lost his mind. What happened to Chandler Jones? That he was in his mansion, basically his compound in fucking Vegas, and the cops were trying to keep him in his house. What happened to Chandler Jones that he's, on live saying wild ass shit, right? While sitting around a campfire at 3 a.m, saying really, and then bursting into tears, literally bursting into tears. Is it the same thing John Jones is going through, right? Like,
yeah, I'm sure they got some childhood trauma. I mean,
something's
all
up.
3 of them became professional athletes. They came from a family that, was together, but you don't know what's going on inside homes, and especially between brothers and stuff. But
let me see if Jarek Brunson tweeted something about John Jones. I think it's on here still. One quick second. Here it is. Okay. Actually, I'll put it on the screen because I saw it right before we went live, and I was like, oh shit. And I'm a little irritated that some of these motherfuckers that claim to be his friend didn't say a damn thing to him or to somebody about it. Here it is. There it is. Derek Brunson says today, John Jones and I used to hang out just about every day when I was in town from 2011, 2014. One night we went out and I said to him, bro, why are you doing all this? Let's just hang out with the ladies and have fun. The extra stuff isn't needed. They're already here with us. He looked at me and said, I don't need a dad. I need a friend. That was the last time we hung out. I couldn't sit back and watch. I had to be honest with my friends. Where the hell, where were you? Where were his friends? Where's his family?
Oh, you don't want to. It's somebody who doesn't want to listen, and unfortunately, nobody can make him listen because he's the baddest man that walks the earth.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's one of those things. But
it's the monster that MMA created, for lack of a better term. It's the monster they created, and it's the monster they're dealing with now. And the monster just took his ball and went home, said, "Fuck Tom Aspinall, I'm leaving." I just don't believe he's going to be gone forever. I think he comes back.
Eddie, this isn't even like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was ducking people and stuff. He fought Canelo Alvarez when Canelo was 23, 24. Mm-hmm. It's not like he went and fought Tom 3 years ago before everybody knew about him when he was 28, and not 31. But and he sits here like he doesn't want to fight a young guy. Tom's in his 30s. Like, this isn't like what you've ruined 2 years of his career. Mm-hmm. Like, he ain't a young guy anymore. Like, so yeah. What were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry. On the Floyd Mayweather thing, Mayweather was still is, but was a genius. He fought the right guys at the right time. Pacquiao, you fight Pacquiao. No, fuck that. I want to fight Pacquiao. No, he ain't worth it. Whatever. Pacquiao gets old and slow. I'll fight him now. Yeah. Canelo Alvarez. Fight Canelo. Let me go see. Oh yeah, he's not. He don't have the game in his head. Oh yeah, I'll fight Canelo. He beat the shit out of Canelo. It was easy. Avoiding punches pop out, made him cut to a certain weight that Canelo has a hard time making and maintaining. John Jones tried to do the same thing. The problem is when Tom Aspinall came around, it was nobody left to fight but Tom Aspinall. So instead of fighting Tom Aspinall, what'd you do? Well, I need a legacy fight. I'm taking my legacy fight against Stipe. You should have retired literally right after you won that fight, if that's what you're gonna do. Instead, like you said, you drag a young guy along for 2 years and waste 2 years of his prime. And honestly, part of the blame goes to fucking Dana in the UFC too.
Oh, 100%. And this was one of the things I put in the notes.
Yeah.
The top level executives in the UFC right now are shit in the bed. And I don't know if it's Dana not having his hands on. Here, this is what I think. Dana might have had his hands on this situation a month or so ago, right when he got back into the spotlight, when he first had that press conference at the UFC pay-per-view. I think he probably started getting wind of like, hey, this is getting a little tough with John Hunter and those guys told him. But they can't get deals done without Dana. Why is Ngannou not happening? Why are we not watching Topuria versus Makhachev on International Fight Week? It's none of these fights are getting made, and it's just very frustrating.
It's very frustrating for fans and fighters too. And again, you like everyone's always been saying, not always, but they've been saying for years, nobody's bigger than the UFC. Mr. Beckham, what's up, my boy? That's my guy. But he everyone's been saying for years, no one's bigger than the UFC. The UFC kind of making it sound like John Jones might be bigger than the UFC. So, okay, me personally, do I hope he comes? And I'm going to ask you the same thing. What are your hopes? All right, I'm going to go first. I do not want to see John Jones fight again. I don't, because I don't want to go back to this whole thing where look, man, everyone loves Tom Aspinall. I love Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall is great. John Jones has beaten fucking everyone that gets in front of him. Everyone's supposed to beat him and kill him. He not only beats, he destroys. Outside of the first Gustafsson fight and I think the Reyes.
Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes. But other than that, Eddie, we said it earlier, his average age of opponent's 38 years old. It's like
right. And so I don't want to see him ever again. I'm done with John Jones. I'm done.
I do want to see him again. And here's my thing with it. My favorite fighters fought till they can't fight anymore.
Right.
Robbie Lawler, Fedor Emelianenko. I was there at Fedor's retirement fight against Ryan Bader. He was fighting for a world title at 45 years old. When he first lost to Verdum, he didn't just take his ball and go home. He didn't take his ball and go home when Pride died and he was still undefeated. He came to America, fought for less money than he made probably in Pride, and took a loss. And you know what? Verdum became a superstar overnight, went to the UFC, won a world title against Cain Velasquez, and is going to be a UFC Hall of Famer and an MMA Hall of Famer. Yeah. This guy, John Jones, won't even stick around to do what Fedor did. I don't know. Here's the thing. The thing that's really bugs me is the most competitive fighter I've ever seen is John Jones. And that competitiveness isn't in him anymore. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't either. And I mean, there's no understanding that dude at all, right?
Like, he is the most competitive. He wants to win more than anybody I've ever seen. He would rather die than lose, seriously. Yeah. And to the point now, he doesn't even want to fight. Like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's fucking Mr. Breaker. I remember driving back to MGM and hearing Jones was at a UFC 200. Crazy time. Okay, let's go a little bit back. And I know we're spending too much time on this, but because that just reminds me, I was so irritated when he fell out of 200. Dude, because oh my God, do you remember that promo, that badass fucking promo? Awesome. Yeah. It was great at the end. This is why Ariel doesn't, started crying like for 2 hours on his fucking live stream years ago because Dana banned him for 5 minutes. But because he broke the news about Brock Lesnar, right? And the Brock Lesnar voice comes out and says, can you hear me now? And then Brock Lesnar was like, what the fuck, right? It was 200 was supposed to be over the top, way crazy, nutty shit. He falls out. Now, we get, was it Tate Nunes in the main event?
Tate Nunes, DC Silva.
There you go. I love Tate Nunes. That was a great fight, right? I mean, I enjoyed it. It was supposed to be John Jones and DC with Brock Lesnar in the card with Nunes and Miesha Tate. Come on, just boom, 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 boom. And
he ruined the greatest card of all time.
They ruined
Cain Velasquez, Travis Brown on the prelims. Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo on the prelims.
Cain Velasquez he wheel kicked Travis Brown in the fucking face in the prelims. All right? That was nasty. But to get in front of the media with your manager right next to you and you're sobbing and crying because I can't believe I got caught. I was doing steroids. Like, stop with the fake shit. As a fighter, full respect for John Jones. As a person, zero. None. I have none.
Yep. That's where we stand on it. Eddie never wants to see him fight again. I want to see him fight till he loses. I think he owes that to the sport who gave him everything he has. The greatest heavyweight of all time, Fedor Emelianenko, fought till he couldn't fight anymore. And I think that's the way a true champion goes out. So John Jones, a champion in the cage, but outside of the cage, not quite so much. Eddie, we do have some exciting news that just broke about a fight between Diego Lopes and Gene Silva. How excited are you between these two finishers?
Okay, I love the fight. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Two things. One, it's tiny bit too early for these two. I want this to be 100%, dude. He used to wait till that fucking to the drop to come out. Like he will walk out, it's like dun 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 dun, and then like on the drop, then he starts walking. It's like woo, nasty. Anyway, but we were talking about fucking
Gene Silva versus Diego Lopes.
I love the fight. It's too soon, but what bugs me is, in my mind at least, and maybe a lot of the people's minds, I think we just got confirmation of Volkanovski Yair 2 for a title. Because who else at 145 is stepping up?
Pico versus Evloev.
Right, but this fight's supposed to be that fight's coming up this weekend?
In like a week or two. It's coming up pretty quick.
Okay, so it's coming up quick. Not enough time to set him up for a main event fight in September and November. It's too soon. Mm-hmm. I think we're getting Volk Yair 2. That's what bugs me. Okay, but outside of that, badass fight. I just hate that it's in fucking San Antonio, which, by the way, fuck you, Spurs. Drafting Dylan Harper. I want Dylan Harper to fall to the Suns. All right, you dicks. All right, we need a point guard. You don't. All right. All respect to Popovich. The whole city of San Antonio can eat a dick. But I just fuck with me. I just saw it on my TV. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Anyway, but yeah, dude, it's just it's gonna be a badass fight. I wish it was in Mexico because I was supposed to be there. Yeah. But badass fight. I can't wait to see it, honestly.
Yeah, same. Two finishers. Gene Silva's been on a wrecking path so far. His chin is just incredible, and it's going to be tested.
If the fight lives up to what you and I think it's going to be, does the winner get a title shot?
Here's my thing. Evloev needs one, right? And if Evloev goes and beats Pico, I think that's 10 in a row for him. I think he's 9 in a row right now. I don't know how you deny that. And from an meritocracy standpoint, you got to give it to him, because I know Bilal Muhammad eventually got there, and that was a short-lived reign and all this stuff. But it took him 9 fights to get there. It took Leon Edwards a lot of fights to get there. And I think Evloev has earned that. He does have a win over Diego Lopes and some other people. And if he goes out there and beats Pico, I think Pico's one of the most talented fighters in the world. Will he be able to put it together technically and mentally? I don't know. But from pure grappling and a power in his hand standpoint, youth and athleticism, Aaron Pico is one of the best fighters in the world. So if Evloev beats him, I think Evloev deserves a title shot. But I think Evloev deserves it. I think the winner of this fight that you're talking about deserves it more than Yair deserves it. I'm pretty confused about that. What do you think?
I don't understand Yair. I think if I'm the UFC, I make Evloev. I pull. I mean, I know people would hate this, right? I would have already given Evloev his title shot, right? Because, like you said, he's earned it. Look, is he entertaining? Fuck no, hell no. But if someone's gonna make him fucking fight, it's Alexander the fucking Aussie Volkanovski. Because Volkanovski has a way to get you out of your game and make you fight. Not just, you're not going to get to your game plan against Alex. It's not happening. That's Brian Ortega. That didn't work out.
Great takedown defense, too.
Amazing takedown defense. So he's going to make him fight. And Evloev has been talking his shit like, I'll stand with him. No, you won't. No, you won't. You're going to be not hugging immediately. That being said, he deserves it. If we're talking deserved, I 100% agree with you. Evloev should be the guy in there already. We should not be getting Aaron Pico Evloev at all, right? But have you seen Pico lately, physically?
I have not.
Dude, he is ripped to shreds. This motherfucker
shredded,
crazy. Like, I'm like, man, off that picture on Instagram, I'm like, dude, they're gonna be testing him every day now, just in case. Fuck. But dude, I'm hyped for Pico. I think he beats Evloev, which would suck for Evloev because then buy a title shot.
If he goes out there, here's my thing though. If he goes out there and shuts Evloev's lights out, puts him out cold, like we've seen him do, like he's put some dudes out bad. So it's highway. I mean, he got put out bad by Henry Krause, but he's been putting some dudes out bad with his hand. If he goes out there and shuts his lights off in dramatic fashion, you have to give. I think maybe Pico gets a title shot off one fight.
I would not be mad at that. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I know you're saying Yair, but I mean, if you do the fight with Yair, you'd have Pico as a backup fighter and available.
Yeah. No, I think, I'm excited for Pico. I fought him in Bellator. I mean, I got to talk to Pico one time way back in the day before he had any kind of media done, and he was so awkward. And I remember telling him, like, He was super young. He just got himself, because when he came out, you know, and you know, he wasn't gonna do wrestling no more, or he wasn't gonna wrestle anymore, a lot, whatever. He was like, they were like, oh, he's gonna go UFC, and I remember thinking like, I don't want Pico in UFC. He's way too soon for him. He's too young. He's too small. He's too green. The striking is nowhere near there. So going to Bellator for him, genius idea. He's here at the exact right time he needs to be, when the featherweight division is wide open. You and I agree. He wins this fight against Evloev, especially if it's impressive. Fuck, give him a title shot. Sorry, Diego and Silva. You guys had a great fight. Y'all after him.
And to Beckham's point here, I think that I'm the most excited for Pico of any of the Bellator fighters that have came over recently, including Patchy Mix, including Patricio Pitbull. I just think that Pico has more gas left in the tank than any of those guys. But we've got a loaded show for you guys here today, and we got to get into Baku for last week before we get into our International Fight Week predictions. So, Eddie, last week in the main event, we had Khalil Roundtree earning a unanimous decision victory over Jamal Hill. Was able to knock him down multiple times in that contest. Leg kicks were a big factor. What did you think of this technical approach from Khalil Roundtree? When we were talking about this last week, we thought this was going to be an absolute slugfest.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, you know, the most exciting fight in the world, and the people in the stands in Baku were kind of leaving as the fight was playing out. But what did you think of Khalil Roundtree? I thought it was an impressive performance from him. I was not impressed with Jamal Hill's performance that much, though.
Khalil fought smart. Khalil fought smart. For as many jokes as I make about Jamal Hill, about Jamal Hill, as for as many jokes as I make about him and everything, you know, he's a tubby guy, whatever. He can knock you out. So what did and Khalil made the point. So I don't know if you noticed, after the fight, Jamal goes up to him and starts complaining. He's like, why didn't we fight? Why didn't we fight? And Khalil told him, and he barely caught it on the microphone. By the way, I love that the UFC is doing this now, that they're putting mics so close that you can hear them talk after the fight, right? But Khalil said something about, I had to protect myself, man. He's smart. He fought smart. Destroyed his right calf. I mean, that thing was it was the size of a balloon, like fucking Conor used to say. The leg was jacked. He peppered him everywhere with kicks. It was just the finish did not present itself, and Khalil fought smart. Is it what the UFC wanted? Absolutely not. They wanted a barn burner because Baku paid him millions of dollars and to show up. I was impressed with the fact that Khalil can fight so damn technical. I thought that was great.
Yeah, we haven't really seen that side of him. And honestly, against Alex Pereira, he looked improved at the striking even in there too. So his last two outings, he's looked really good. But unfortunately, I don't think this is going to propel him back into an immediate title shot. No. So I think that the next best thing for Khalil right now would be face a top 5 guy. And I think the best option for him would be Jan Blachowicz. What do you think about that?
For Khalil?
Yep.
Is he? Well, if he's not booked, because Khalil came out pretty unscathed.
Yeah.
For the most part, he still needs some time and everything. He did get he did take some damage. I don't know. Let me pull up my rankings really quick, because he's not going to get Magomed, obviously. But as much as he was, as much as he kept saying like, well, I don't know, but and then
what about him and Yuri? What about that?
Ooh. See, okay, so here's the thing: would Yuri's style make it so Hill can't fight technical? You know what I mean? Like Yuri gets wild with it. He will rush your ass and put hands on you and make you get out of your game plan real quick, because Yuri's not afraid of getting knocked out, right? So, oh man, I would like that matchup. Yeah, give me that one before you give me Jan Blachowicz, because Jan's gonna hug him. He's gonna try to take him down over and over again, and Khalil's gonna be throwing body kicks and leg kicks to try to stop those takedowns, and knees at the middle and shit like that, but. Yeah, I don't want to see that fight. No, give me Yuri. Yuri Khalil will be violent, hopefully violence. At least.
And for Jamal Hill, he didn't even it got through the fight, right? And Jamal didn't even really think that he had lost, right? So I don't know where to go with Jamal Hill, because I don't think that he really knows where his deficits are and why he's losing these fights. Do you think this is a cardio and conditioning thing for Jamal? Do you think he needs to get in better shape? What do you think is really – do you think he's too one-dimensional with the striking? I see him flat-footed out there. He stands pretty straight up. He does have great power, but he just really kind of seems too one-dimensional right now, Eddie.
He looked injured to me. I don't know that, and I'm not making excuses for him, but he didn't look healthy to me that night, right? He didn't move very well. He was never on his toes ever. Now he doesn't do it a ton, but he didn't look healthy to me, right? He looked like he was just hoping for an opening to land a shot and get a knockout. But I would like to see him go somewhere else to train. I don't know, where does he train at?
He's training in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I believe. Probably a pretty small place.
The thing it rings true, and I don't even have to tell you. Oh, that's what they say. We've seen example after example after example. If you're the big fish in a small pond, you're the best guy in the gym. You're never gonna get better ever. You have to go to the ocean where you're the small fish and bust your ass with those killers, right? And I hate the phrase "iron sharpens iron" because it's some dumbass. It sounds like some bullshit alpha male fake ass guru would say, but it's true.
It's true in all sports, really, man. Like if you're out there, like when I was in college baseball and you had a kid who was pitching next to you and he threw harder than you, you better develop another pitch. You better do something that he doesn't do, and you better do it quick.
You can't throw. If you can't throw 100, if you can't throw 100, your slider better be fucking primo. Because
the same thing goes over here for mixed martial arts. So it's like, Jamal, you do have great striking, you do have power in your hands, and when you fight the guys like Johnny Walker, and you fight the guys like who you beat, you're going to be able to get away with it. But in the upper echelon of this division, and it's hard to say this about a guy who was a former champion, Eddie, but he fought a guy in Glover Teixeira who was either 40 years old or 42 at the time, and that's his highest quality win. So when you get to the echelon and the top of the spear against guys your own age, where we've seen him with the Yuris and the Alexes and now Khalil, he just seems too one-dimensional to me at times. And do you think he needs, a step down in competition here, maybe a top 10 to 15 ranked guy?
I think he needs to take some time and really think about developing his game and his mind, because he made a fucking. I didn't watch it. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with the sour grape shit. But hours later, he put out a video on YouTube talking about he got robbed or whatever. Fuck, he talking about? Like something is. It's up here. It's up here. I don't think it's here. I think it's here. Right. So I want to see him go somewhere. Maybe you don't have to go to ATT. You don't got to go to Extreme Couture. You don't got to go to AKA. Just go to a gym with a handful of UFC fighters that are better than you, please, and put yourself to test. I would love for him to go spar with Sean Strickland and to see what he can do. Because Sean Strickland leaves himself open, and Jamal's pretty good at countering. So
another decently sized gym that's getting bigger is the one in Chicago with the guy who we're going to talk about next, with Bahamondes and Bilal Muhammad and all those guys. Which leads us into our co-main event, Eddie. Rafael Fiziev picks up a big win in Azerbaijan, his home country. The biggest pop of the night was for the hometown boy Fiziev, as he gets a win over Ignacio Bahamondes. I think experience was the main factor in this one. Right out of the gate, Bahamondes looked good. He looked like we predicted last week. We both thought that Bahamondes would get this one. Starts out leg kicks looking great, flicking the jab out there. But at some point, Fiziev was tricky enough to find his way on the inside and landed takedowns. There was also a point in the second round where I thought Bahamondes was really close in that second round. It was almost a 50-50 round, and he he pulls guillotine at the end of the round, which basically gave up the round. So I just think there were some inexperienced moments there for Ignacio. I don't think this is the end of the world. It's not a terrible loss. Listen, this guy's fought former world champions like Justin Gaethje. He's fought the best of the best. He is one of the best of the best. So when Ignacio goes back, I don't think that he's going to be too down on himself with this performance, and I think it's something that he can build on. Obviously, 6'3" in the lightweight division. He's a physical freak, and he's going to get more chances.
I knew the fight was over when the first time Bahamondes threw a head kick and Fiziev like matrix dodged it.
Yeah,
he's like, woo! I'm like, oh, this fight's over. Fuck. I said Bahamondes can't land that, and all Fiziev did was whoosh, and it was right back in your face, landing on you. Look, Bahamondes, he did his best, man. That's all it was. It was just a lack of experience, just like you said. The experience factor from Fiziev. Fiziev took his many. I think he ain't fought since the loss to Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
And you're not beating a guy like that at home. It's just not gonna happen. So I thought Bahamondes was gonna win it. I thought because I'm not very high on Fiziev even now. I think Fiziev is kind of a middle of the road lightweight in my mind.
Both were like, man, if you lost a striking matchup to Justin Gaethje, how are you going to win one against? But Fiziev goes out there and wrestles. We've never seen him wrestle, Eddie.
Yeah, no, he did great. Honestly, Fiziev really showed improvement in this one. But I feel like if he fights someone for example, we do the Justin Gaethje rematch again, Justin wins again. I just don't see. To me, and this is not disrespecting Fiziev, it's just from the years I've been watching, he seems like a middle of the road lightweight that's just an exciting guy. But if Fiziev's gonna make a move and a run to a title shot right fucking now, bro, you got to do it now, because these lightweights are just developing and the younger guys are coming up. And you understand, you know how this works. The higher you get up in the rankings, the longer layoffs you have because no one wants to fight you, and you don't want to fight guys ranked under you, so you're waiting for the upper guys. Upper guys ain't trying to fight you either. They don't want to put their rank at risk for just whoever.
So, then you look around and you fought 2 times in 3 years.
Exactly. So you turn into PFL real quick, but it's I had to get my shot on there. But yeah, I don't know. As weird as it sounds, this made me more excited for Bahamondes because if that dude's gonna go back to the gym and come back scary.
Yeah, he didn't get finished. He got tested on the feet where he's good at. When Bahamondes gets to 31, 32 years old, he is going to be a real problem.
It'll be nasty. I can't wait to see it.
Yep. Moving down the card, though, we did have, it seems like we always got one of these per card, Eddie, a really controversial decision here. I actually thought Curtis Blaydes won this fight in the first and third round. I thought it was a very close fight, no doubt about it. But how'd you see this one? And a lot of fans online were calling this a robbery. Is that how you saw it, Eddie?
No. Curtis Blaydes won this fight. Kuniev did not do anything really to separate himself. And Curtis did it with a blown out MCL or whatever I think it says on there. Yeah, blown out MCL. That was crazy, right? Now we're not privy to this before the fight happened, so we're not getting him an extra. During the fight, we're not giving him extra props. Excuse me, but he did look like he couldn't move that well, right? So I wasn't surprised. I thought he was gonna be able to get a knockout on Kuniev, right? I really did. And now props to Kuniev. That dude's stronger than shit.
Yeah.
Like Curtis grabbed him, tried to take him down, and that guy would just not really just sun him off of him, but damn, I was like watching the fight. I was like, God damn, like he can't get him down. Like that's Curtis Blaydes.
Gonna beat some guys.
That's Curtis fucking Blaydes. I want to see Curtis Blaydes against like Derek Lewis for some reason, even though Derek.
That was a bad matchup. The first, so remember he knocked him out bad. Curtis went for that takedown. Derek hit him with that uppercut, and he was asleep for like 3 minutes.
I want Kuniev.
Oh, Kuniev versus Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
Have him take on the winner of Lewis and Taliesin Teixeira in Nashville.
Yeah. After everyone falls asleep watching that boring ass main event, this Kuniev is like, hey man, you guys are boring. Kuniev, get in there, whip someone's ass. Do that shit. But
Kuniev versus Spivak.
Yeah, why not? Fuck, that's a good one. No, the funny thing about Kuniev, isn't he the guy that they try to sign and then he popped hot
against Ferreira? Yep.
In PFL, right?
Yep.
And they still brought him into the UFC.
Yep. He popped hot for like 8 different things.
Who the fuck? Who does the matchmaking for the heavyweights? Is it Mick or Sean?
Hey, Eddie, have you noticed that nobody's popped hot since they got rid of USADA?
Oh, fuck it. Let's turn into let's turn into a Pride. Fuck it.
Yeah,
let's turn into Pride where they only ever tested for cocaine. Connor would be fucked.
Yeah, it'd be unlimited.
Everybody else would be fine. For him. Connor and Jones would never fight again, but everyone else would be fine. They'd be, dude. Hey, call Alistair
Overeem. You're gonna kill our top stars doing that.
Fuck it. Call Alistair Overeem. Hey, Uberim, get your ass back here. You say Uberim. I'm gonna eat some horses.
Get back on the roids,
dude. Uberim. God damn, dude. We're talking about.
If they'd have let him be, that might have been one of the best heavyweights ever.
He would have been the GOAT.
Yeah,
dude. The way he kicked a body kick from Uberim, like to anybody, right? But like a body kick from that dude to just anywhere on your body, like whatever body part he hits, going out the back, dude. There's no fucking way you survive that. And then if you remember, Brock Lesnar had that diverticulitis or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that guy had like a ton of his like intestine ripped out of his body because he was fucked up sick. Dude, he hit him with the knees. I was like, every time he hit him, I was like, oh fuck, like it was just bad. But I love those fighters that was so scary. Even as a fan watching it, or as a media guy watching it, I have no personal ties to either Brock Lesnar or Uberim, and I was like this the whole time, like, oh my god, he's gonna get him! Oh shit! Like it was so crazy. I miss that. I miss the heyday of like roided out
Vitor Belfort,
dude. TRT Vitor. I miss the heyday of just like Wild West MMA and steroids in baseball. That was like steroids in baseball was the only time I ever gave a shit. Watching Sosa and McGuire go back and forth. We all knew they were juiced to the gills. Jose Canseco told us, but it was awesome.
Yeah. So we did have Curtis Blaydes, Chicago native, pick up a big win. I'm in Chicago this week covering the PFL. We'll talk about that briefly here in a minute. But 2 more fights that we got to get to from Baku. Eddie, Maitek Orlabai submits Tafik Masayev in one of the most impressive performances on the entire card. Masayev was a big crowd favorite there at home. We've seen him compete in Bellator and Ryzen. He's a very competitive guy, especially on the feet. But Orlabai really just took him down, submitted him, and made it look easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was what I expected from Orlabai. I mean, Musayev came in with short notice, right? Short notice, and dude, that kid still fucking held up. I was clapping for Musayev. I was like, hell yeah, boy! Like, you ain't supposed to win, and you put up a hell of a fucking fight. Honestly, right? Considering he was coming in super late. But this is what Orlabai does. And I love the comment that who's Spencer left on her fucking Instagram. Said, prime example of a grappler actually attempts finishes. Grapplers in MMA, not just UFC and PFL and LFA, whatever it is, grapplers in MMA finish a fight or at least try. Okay. I get it. I train jiu-jitsu, position over submission, 100%. But if you won't want to be called boring, choke that motherfucker out or take his arm or something, please.
Yeah, great win from Orlabai, and I want to see Musayev at least get booked again. I hope it's not a one and done situation. He got him out of there quick.
Oh no, he'll fight again. That guy was that kid fucking he the UFC owes him one at least.
The best fight on the card, though, Eddie, was between Nazim Sadykhov and Nicholas Mata. This was an absolute war in the first round, and the fights like these are why fight fans, we tune in every single week, because if we're going to get one of these per card, that's why we tune in. These guys went out there and left it all out there on the line, but eventually Sadykhov scores a big knockout against the cage, sends Nicholas Mota crashing to the canvas near the fence. I mean, obviously, great fight between these guys, Eddie. What'd you make of the performance performance from Sadykhov, and how impressed are you with his progression so far? Only one loss.
I've enjoyed his run in the UFC, and I always thought he was really good. Right, he wasn't paired up with the right guys to put up the style that he was good at. Nicholas Mota was his guy. That was the guy he needed to face to show what he's made of, and he showed up. My favorite part though wasn't even the fight. Did you see the clip afterwards when he got told he got $100,000 bonus?
No, I didn't.
Shout out to Charlie Quinn. Charlie Quinn's if you guys recognize the name, you know who he is. But now he's in that camp, right? And he went with them, and he has that video. He goes up to Nazim in the hotel room. He goes, you can hear Charlie's voice fucking shaking, and he just goes, "Hey man, the UFC just called me." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You got $100,000 bonus," and Nazim goes, runs around, drops, and then just emotion. The emotion from that guy. Just $100,000, just a kid. Just a fucking kid. And he scored $100,000 winning a highlight reel fight. Not just not a finish, but a fight in his home country. It doesn't get better than that. That was amazing. So I'm a sucker for for heartfelt moments. That was a great one. But the fight itself, dude, crazy banger. That should have been the headliner, 100%.
Oh, it saved the whole card, Eddie. We're going to talk 100%. About our card rating here in a second. And the only reason that I'm going to give this card the rating that I do is because of this fight. It was an absolute bloodbath and a fight of the year contender. Just hate that it only lasted for, basically a round and a half. But Eddie, I'm going to give this card overall a 7.2. I loved this fight. I thought Fiziev had a gritty performance against Bahamondes. Curtis Blades was in a competitive matchup as well. I know that they ended in decision, but it's not necessarily the same as the decisions that we saw the previous week where we had 5 in a row and they were kind of uncompetitive or boring. I kind of actually did like these fights, so I'll go 7.2.
I'll go 7. Was it 3 finishes overall on the card? 2 finishes on the entire card. But off the rip to gear, honestly, I thought Moxon won that fight, but whatever. Claudius Ugula gets a decision over Lopes-Silva, and that was a rough one. Daria Yu Young Park got. Was that the one that
they deducted 2 points?
2 points. Time. I was like, that's a ref with fucking balls. That's a guy that's saying you're not fucking doing that shit in my kids again. Refs. Take notes.
I wonder what Big John says about it. I'm going to have to go watch his podcast, see what he said about it.
Bitch and complain. When is Big John doesn't complain about some shit? God damn. I don't hate him. I'm just saying. Anyway, but yeah, dude, it was a 7. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. And honestly, I loved it because it was in the morning.
Yeah.
For us. So yeah.
But we do have a card here in Chicago, PFL World Tournament semifinals, Eddie. Main event, Josh Silveira is going to take on Fabian Edwards. I was here at Media Day today. Fabian's very confident. Now, people are saying that he's overlooking Josh Silveira. People asked him about that at Media Day, and he says, I'm not overlooking anybody. This is one of the biggest fights of my entire career. And really, I think this is an opportunity for Fabian Edwards to stake his own claim in his fighting family and become a world champion in his own right. But Josh Silveira has a greater motivation now, just having his first child, and also moving down from the light heavyweight division to the middleweight division at 185 pounds. He's a bigger guy than a lot of these people, but I don't know if he's going to be bigger on fight night than Fabian Edwards.
Ooh, I don't know if he'll be bigger, but no, he won't. I mean, this is his first fight at middleweight, right, for Joshua?
He just beat Shipman in the opening round.
Well, okay, his first tournament.
Yeah,
in middleweight. It'll be interesting to see how quick he can move, because Fabian will land on him real quick if he doesn't move quick enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see Josh Silveira fight in there, coming off having his first child and all that, and that was pretty. Who asked that question? Do you remember?
Pendleton.
Pendleton asked a question. Yeah. So that was a great good one, one of the few ones. But yeah, dude, Josh having new motivation and all that was pretty. I like Josh. I've spoken to Josh a couple times, and it's a guy that it's a guy you root for, but just ends up in shit matchups in the finals. And it's like he's always been this fucking close, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. He's got a good chance against Fabian because Fabian can be taken down. So it's just interesting, dude. But Fabian Edwards is the dog. I got to talk to him. I interviewed him a couple weeks ago, whatever, and he's just focused as shit. Now, mind you, it's hard to read him, right? Him and his brother are the most like just monotone dudes ever, but still, I think it'd be a good fight for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not going to give a prediction for this card because I am covering it, but make sure to watch this on ESPN Plus on Friday night before the International Fight Week card on Saturday. We'll get a little taste for MMA fans on Friday night with some great matchups here in Chicago. But moving down the card, Eddie, we have a matchup that I'm really the most interested in on this card. Former world champion Phil Davis, former UFC top 5 contender Phil Davis, taking on training partner of Ryan Bader, an upcoming powerhouse Sullivan Cauley. Cauley picked up a big win in the opening round by knockout. Phil Davis obviously just beat Rob Wilkinson, had a statement win there in Orlando. Are you going to go with the experience of Phil in this one? He's got 3 times the amount of fights that Sullivan Cauley has, but I really think that Sullivan Cauley is one of these prospects that's going to be around for a long time.
He's going to be around for 100% for a long time. That being said, Phil Davis is one of those guys where experience might be the most important attribute. He knows how to fight. He knows how to wrestle. He knows when to do what, right? It's hard to beat Phil Davis. He's a hard guy to fucking take out. So he made the point when I talked to him a couple weeks ago. He said, I asked him, I was like, hey, are you worried about fighting a guy in Sullivan Cauley who trains with Ryan Bader, who you fought twice? And I said, and I hate to tell you, he just goes like, yeah, I know. Like, he beat him twice. Ryan Bader won both. I think he won both those fights. So he made the point. He goes, you can't just adopt Ryan Bader's fighting style because you're not Ryan Bader. And he's 100% right. Sullivan Cauley, different kind of guy, but it's similar enough. So I know. You guys were talking to Cauley. He said, yeah, Bader gave me some pointers and all sorts of stuff. And I tell you right now, Bader definitely gave him some very valuable pointers. I just wonder if it's enough. You know what I mean? This is one of those, like, I mean, you tell me, do you think this is the first true test for Sullivan Cauley?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the problem. It might be too big of a test. I don't know. But Sullivan Cauley's put almost everybody he's fought away by knockout, right? Mm-hmm. He's got vicious ground and pound even when he's on the ground. Yeah. But Phil Davis has never been finished, Eddie. And this is a guy that is world class. He stays out of dangerous situations. Mm-hmm. Even when he fought Anthony Rumble Johnson in Rumble's prime, remember that title eliminator that Phil left the UFC on? He didn't get really hurt by Anthony Johnson. Now, Johnson defended his takedowns and ended up winning that fight and beat him on the feet. But Phil Davis is well-rounded, and we're going to find out a lot about Sullivan Cauley in this matchup.
Yeah, dude, it's a big jump. But you know what? Phil being at 40, you know what I mean? He's 40 years old. He's still in crazy shape, but the mind is there. We're going to find out what Phil has left. But, man, I would be hyped as shit if Cauley knocks him out. Yeah. That'd be crazy.
New star. I mean, they'd be building stars this year with Thad, Gene, him, and potentially in our next matchup we're going to talk about. I'm sorry.
Sorry, real quick. If Cauley knocks him out and he's going to become a star in the PFL, I need more on the microphone, Sullivan, please.
He's a funny guy.
That's what I'm saying. I need more of that. I need a little more. I don't know. We need to give him like a shot of adrenaline before he goes to media day, so he's fucking hyped up. And that story about we'll talk about that here in a second, bro. But A little bit, but fuck, it totally threw me off. Either way, that's the story about the Chicago knockout man, or whatever he said.
Yeah,
that he told you, right?
His Russian voice was
perfect.
It was great.
It was perfect. I love that. More of that, Sullivan, please.
He's a better impressionist than comedians.
He's pretty solid. He's pretty good. Yeah, 100%. No, Sullivan, more of that, especially if you win this fight.
Yeah. But moving down the card here, Eddie, we do have two young guns in Aaron Jeffrey and I guess we got Stotts and Pettis. Quickly, fight fans, two former Bellator fighters, potentially a number one contenders matchup to face the bantamweight tournament winner. Two guys who are Midwest legends, both trained at Rufus Sport in Milwaukee for a time, split about 4 years ago. We're supposed to fight in 2021. We're around in Bellator for the entirety of their careers. They know each other extremely well. We're going to get this matchup here in between these two guys, and I think they're going to bring a lot of fans to the stadium from Milwaukee.
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be great. Stotts told me, he was like, he said, what did he say? He was supposed to fight Patchy Mix.
Patchy Mix, yep.
He was supposed to fight Patchy Mix, but literally right before Patchy signed with the UFC, or went over to the UFC. And so now he gets Sergio Pettis. The way Stotts sees it, if he beats Sergio Pettis, this is not a tournament fight, folks. It's just a fucking fight. If he wins this fight, in his mind, and I agree with him because Sergio's a former champion, he should be able to fight. He should fight the whoever comes out of the tournament as bantamweight champion. Right, and do like a champ on champ, I think. But
yeah, I think so too. Now they said Magomedov was talking some stuff online. Maybe he's in the mix as well, but we'll see. I think that the winner of this matchup, two former champions, I think that it would bring a lot of name value and recognition and legitimacy to that belt.
I think so. And legitimacy being the key word right there. It would be definitely legitimize the belt. But that fight you were talking about a second ago, and I don't want to.
Yeah, two young prospects here in the middleweight division. Yeah. I was actually at the first fight between these two guys when Aaron Jeffrey beat Dalton Rasta by decision in that contest. Rasta started off hot, but in the second and third rounds, he seemed to have lost a little bit of gas in the tank. Jeffrey outlasted him. Won a unanimous decision victory, 29-28 on all three scorecards. It's the only professional loss that Dalton Rasta has suffered yet in his career. And coming into this tournament, Eddie, he was all confidence when I talked to him in our interview before the tournament, called how he was going to beat Stadabusi in that opening round. He said, I'm going to beat the shit out of him, and then I'm going to submit him. And that's pretty much what he did. And coming into this one, it's more of a bad blood matchup for Rasta, but he's a very competitive guy, and he wants this win back more than anything. Yeah. And obviously, it's the biggest fight of his career with the final and prize money on the line.
Yeah, dude, it's my audio cut out for a second there, so I missed it again. It wasn't your fault. It was my internet fucked up. So the audio went out. So I didn't hear. I'm sorry about that. I
basically was saying at 298 in Bellator, Jeffrey outlasted him. He
started
off hot. He kind of faded late, but this seems more like a bad blood matchup for Rasta than it does Jeffrey.
Aaron Jeffrey is more skilled than Dalton Rasta. That is not an incorrect statement to make, right? Aaron Jeffrey, in my mind, in my eyes, is got a better gas tank, right? And is, in my opinion, more skilled than Dalton. Dalton, and it's funny because I know you talked to him and then you meet it and everything. He's trying to put forth this like image of I'm fucking fully focused on Aaron Jeffrey. He's not doing a great job of selling it as a rivalry at all. But I love how Aaron Jeffrey was like, man, whatever. He was kind of like, I was like, yeah, I beat him twice. I'll beat him again. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, right? Aaron's a laid back guy.
He's
different personalities.
Super different. I want to see what Dalton does at weigh-ins tomorrow at the ceremonials, which I know you'll be there. But I want to see what he does there. If he's gonna, try and punk him or something, because Dalton Rasta definitely comes off as like the douchebag jock in this whole fucking thing. But it works for him. Look, if he comes out, beats shit out of Aaron Jeffrey, just keep that cycle weird ass shit going, Dalton. It works. Honestly.
Yeah. And he's looked fantastic so far, and they're using him in a lot of promotional pieces. He just threw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field. So this is going to be a great matchup, fight fans, if you want to watch it on Friday night. Also below this one quickly, we've got Shoeface, who Eddie interviewed. Catch that on Cageside Press's YouTube page before his matchup with Simeon Powell. Simeon Powell, a very athletic guy with one professional loss, but there's a lot of experience on the side of Carlos Jr. in this one. And actually, one of the better fights on this entire card is this semifinal between Moldavsky and Romanov. I don't know why it's not higher.
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck? Let me pull that one up. But this one?
Yeah.
Because it's heavyweight?
I know, but look, I mean, these guys are decent. Former Bellator champion. You got Fedor in one corner over here.
Yeah,
This
but they're
guy
gonna
just came from the UFC and hasn't lost.
they're gonna be hugging in the middle of the cage most of the fight. Honestly, like it's just not exciting, dude.
Yeah.
Heavyweight has not been exciting since the
Make heavyweight great again. Let's get hats going.
for real. Get that ad going. I'll wear that shit. Just make sure it's black. But since what the Cain Velasquez days, right?
Yeah.
We had JDS, Brock Lesnar was fighting Cain Velasquez. We had a bunch of killers. Now we just have a bunch of guys that don't want to cut the 205. They should be cutting the 205.
Yeah.
So.
This is the PFL card that we have this week. Fight fans, make sure to catch that out on ESPN Plus on Friday night before the International Fight Week card on Saturday. But let's get right into it, Eddie. UFC 317 from Las Vegas, Nevada. International Fight Week. Pound for pound, number 2 in the world, Ilia Topuria moves up in weight. Former featherweight champion taking on a former lightweight champion and Charles Oliveira in his first contest in this weight division. How excited are you, Eddie, that we're going to have a new champion crowned here at 155 pounds? And how excited are you for this matchup between these two legends of the sport?
It's going to be dope, honestly. And it's interesting to see Ilia come up to 155, kind of not falling max, but, the 145 cut was a bitch, right? And when we could, and when Kayla Harrison comes to, when we get to that point where she defends her title, we're going to have this conversation too. Could she make it again or not, right? Mm-hmm. But 145 was clearly a bitch for Ilia. It's interesting to see I think he will, land a big shot. Now, whether he wins or not, who knows? See, there you go. Parallels on there. I think Ilia will land a big shot on Charles and put him down. And we're gonna have to wait and see if Charles can get through that adversity and come back and do something. I don't know if he can because Ilia looks bigger. I don't know if you've seen him lately. He looks bigger.
Yeah, he does. And he said that on fight night, he's going to be between 175 and 179 pounds. And Eddie, the adversity, that's what the word you used with Oliveira. He's in adversity every single fight.
Every time.
When you go back to the Michael Chandler fight, the slam, the 5th round, he almost got finished. The first Michael Chandler fight, he gets clipped in the first round and almost finished there. I got to tell you, if Ilia Topuria gets you hurt, he's getting you out of there. Yeah. He's that type of finisher. He's not like Michael Chandler. He's going to run at you, not thinking about anything. This guy can submit you. He can get it done on the ground, and he can also knock you out and has some of the best ground and pound and best punching power in the entire sport. Physically, I think that he's one of the best fighters I've seen at 145 pounds or lower. I think he's got the heaviest hands of a champion that we've seen in quite some time at those weight classes. But Eddie, moving up to 155 pounds, obviously he had that win over Jai Herbert back in the day by knockout. But do you think the power is going to translate up this weight class?
For Ilia?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's I think that's the story of it. Is he going to hit as hard as the guys who have been hitting Charles?
Here's the thing. My thing is not that. He has power. He's always had power. Now I think he has power that's going to match 155. To me, can he still be as accurate as he's always been? Because he's accurate with his punches.
Yep.
Accurate. He doesn't throw head kicks or body kicks, which is a weird, I don't really care, but whatever. But he's accurate with his punches. Can he keep the accuracy going and land hard? That's going to be the question. And the thing is, you and I, you just said it. Charlie's always in adversity every single fight. He's going to get hit. Can he survive the shots? Who knows? But it will translate.
And that's the thing. On the ground, I don't think this is a fight where Topuria is going to want to go to the ground. I think they nullify each other on the ground, which makes this a stand-up matchup.
Oh, my God. The Suns did not fuck that up. Thank God. Oh, we dropped to the center.
Oh, no, it says Houston's pick.
It's our pick. The trade hasn't been completely official, but we got Kamen Malak from Duke, who's probably the only good center in this draft. So thank you, James Jones, or whoever, not even James Jones, whoever's in charge now, that fucking weird old white guy.
7'2", 253, 18 years old. But in this matchup here with Oliveira, how do you see Charles getting this done? Is he going to have to get this done by submission? I don't see him controlling Topuria on the ground. I've thought through past victory for Charles leading into the show here tonight, and I just don't know how I see him getting it done.
I don't. I hate to say it. I love Charlie Olives. Dude is so dope. Great fighter. Cool guy. Great personality. Great teammate. I don't see how he does it. Because on the ground, Ilia's good. On the feet, Ilia's better. I mean, I would argue than Charlie. Yeah, dude, I don't know how he does it. If he pulls it off, I'll be super interested to see how he does it. Yeah. But
what's the odds in this one, Eddie?
Let's find out. No odds yet on the website. Probably they're changing. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, about the only thing that the PFL might have on the UFC is whoever's running their website's better.
We got minus 500 on FanDuel. I just pulled it up real quick.
For Ilya?
Yeah, minus 500 plus 350 for Charles.
My guy. I'm putting $5 on Charlie, just in case.
But
yeah. How are those the disrespectful motherfuckers out in Vegas?
He's gonna be 3 inches bigger, and he's gonna be 180 pounds on fight night too.
Charlie, pull it off, bro. Pull it off. I got a ton of purchases I want to make.
Real quick, Eddie, do you think Charles has trouble making weight? We've seen it in the past where he's had to give up the belt. Do you think we have any problems with the weight cut going into this one?
No, we won't. And that one, because I was there for that one, I think I told the story 100 times, but just very quickly. I was at 274 for that. And I walked it because I tell you all the time, and again, I'm pulling the curtain back, folks. I tell all my guys, show up early to weigh in, show up early to everything, just in case. I showed up almost an hour early because I left work early because I work at like fucking 5 in the morning. But I left work early to go to cover weigh-ins, right? It was downtown Phoenix, easy to get to from work. I get in there and I get through the door. First thing I see is Daniel Cormier eating a big ass breakfast over at the fucking hotel restaurant, right? And talking on his phone. I look at the other side and, PR and those other people. Coming down the stairs right in front of me, 2 dudes in blue UFC shirts, pissed. They are mad as hell. And they're on the phone. He goes, someone fuck with the scale. They fucked with the fighter scale. So when fighters were upstairs cutting weight, thinking they were on weight, they weren't, right? So Charlie got screwed, and I will maintain that forever. But he'll make weight. It won't be a problem. I'm just curious to see how easy it is for Ilya, because Ilya put on some size during this time away. And so could it be a similar rough cut for Ilya? Yes, it could be. Will it be? Maybe. But no, Charlie will make weight. Ilya will make weight. We'll get a badass fight, and hopefully we don't have to see Armin's face anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, Armin shot himself in the foot, and he should realize that now if he has.
Armin shot himself in the dick. All right, straight up. How? I'm not saying.
They're like, oh, you don't want a title shot? Okay.
I'm just right, but yeah, I'm just saying, right? If you're set to fight Islam Makhachev, you do everything possible to show up ready to go and healthy. How the fuck do you have a back injury out of nowhere? It was a weight cut thing, all right? Let's not fuck around. But my back hurts. I have a back injury or whatever, some injury he allegedly suffered. Remember they blamed who's the chick that's all over the socials that everyone hates?
Nina Drama.
Thank you, her. They blamed her. Cause remember that video? That fucking they were like messing around, whatever. And he looked like a little rough coming off the ground. Everyone's like, oh, he hurt his back with Nina. And everyone blamed Nina for it. That's not what happened, folks. Relax. No one puts weight on like Patty. Dude, Patty
might be fighting the winner of this if he goes and beats Justin Gaethje very, very well, because that's bad blood with Ilya Topuria. And Topuria was even asked about it in a recent interview. Who would you fight next? And he said, well, the biggest fight, I believe, is on Ariel Helwani's show. He said the biggest fight's Patty.
And I want to see that. But badly, actually, I really want to see that next. But no, Patty Pimblett, the thing about Patty Pimblett put on weight is it's not really like he's putting on fat. It's that he inflamed. His body is an inflammatory machine, because I have the same problem, right? Like if I eat a bunch of sugar, I will blow up like crazy. I'm not really going to be that big, though. Like I'm not actually going to gain the fat. But anyway, long story short, give me Ilya by third round knockout.
I'm going to go knockout in the second round for Ilya Topuria. I think he hurts Charles at the end of the first and then is able to close the show there in the early stages of the second round.
I'm with it.
But I do think, like you were saying, that price for 5-1 is fucking outrageous.
Too crazy.
But moving on down the card here, Eddie, we have another championship matchup between Alexandre Pantoja and Kai Kara-France. I kind of look at this one as a classic striker versus grappler contest, and I got to tell you, I favor Pantoja. If he gets this fight to the floor, I think that Kai Kara-France is going to have a lot of problems. But, Eddie, the story of this one is obviously Kai Kara-France's takedown defense. Do you think he's going to be able to keep Pantoja from taking him down?
For the first half round, maybe, when they're dry and they're still, strong and all that. But after that first round, no, he ain't gonna be there. And honestly, I'm so underwhelmed by this matchup. It's the most underwhelming matchup I've seen. I was
more excited for Asakura.
Way more excited for that, because we didn't know what he's gonna bring. We know what these two are gonna bring. So I could give a shit about this fight. Not in a derogatory, these guys are trash. No, not at all. The matchup, to me, I just don't like it. I'm not a fan of it.
I think this is an Alexandre Pantoja decision or late submission.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna be like, "Woohoo, that was awesome."
Kind of predictable, but
Very predictable.
What are the odds on this one too? I got to think they're pretty.
Let's find out.
Minus, do they have them yet? I got them in front of me. If not,
minus 265.
That's honestly, if you'd have told me Pantoja was the 5-1 favorite, I'd have believed you over
for real.
Victoria. But
100%.
Yeah, I like Pantoja in this one. Submission or points on the double chance option on FanDuel. If we have anybody out there that wagers on these contests, that's what I like Pantoja by. How do you have this one, Eddie?
Pantoja decision, and it'll be one of those because this fight's gonna be at like later in the night. I'm gonna be sitting here like trying to like talk to
stay away.
Like,
yeah, I think you're probably right on that one. But yeah, flyweight contest here. Pantoja's running out of contenders coming up. Eddie.
Oh yeah, no, he's fucking no. Yeah, Pantoja needs Joshua Van to put Brandon Royval out.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Joshua Van makes the quick turnaround. He's going to take on the raw dog, Brandon Royval. Royval pulled off some really big wins recently, won over Brandon Moreno, the former champion. Joshua Van is taking the highest step up in competition that he has ever faced. Eddie, we talked about it before his last fight. He did get stopped back in the day by Charles Johnson. Do you think that Brandon Royval's experience is going to play a huge factor on fight night? Joshua Van's still a young guy, very athletic. But here's my thing. If Joshua Van beats Royval, it almost is like we were talking about with Steve Erceg. You have to propel him to that title shot maybe a little bit too soon.
Yeah, but Van, he's like a gem. He's like a diamond in the rough. I don't know how the fuck they got this guy, but he could pull it off, right? Like, I think Brandon Royval said it today at Media Day. He said that this fight, I mean, okay, you remember this fight was originally, who was it going to be?
Shit. I can't even. I gotta look it up. God damn it.
Who was it gonna be? Someone fell out, but the fight was gonna be on the like a featured prelim. Joshua Van gets in there, and it's on the main card. Fucking wild. Like, it's high profile.
Oh, we did have Paulo Costa fall out, so I think that's why.
Oh well, there you go. Well, it worked out. So let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah, or the Paulo Costa fight fell out, and I think this is kind of why it. Manel Kopp was the original scheduled fighter for Brandon Royval, which probably was a more exciting fight on paper. But Joshua Van has the potential to be the next dark horse of this division with a win. Potentially, if he gets Brandon Royval out of there, earns himself a title opportunity. The odds on this one, Eddie, I have to believe are fairly close.
Let's find out. Ooh, super close.
I'm going to take Brandon Royval at that number. I'm going to take him money line. Now, if I want to get into prediction, I think Joshua Van's going to be too tough to get out of there. I think we're going to get a real scrap.
And my boy froze again. I think we're going to get a badass fight. All right. Joshua Van's a dog. I think he's going to bring it. Royval's a dog, obviously. And fucking nickname and everything. But the thing with Joshua Van is that he brings like this, not just style, but he's not afraid of getting in there. So, man, picks for the main event. This card is tough for the main event. Like,
oh, my bad. I lagged out there, guys. I got the before I lag out again. I got Brandon Royval by decision. I think Joshua Van's too tough to get out of there.
Joshua Van in an upset 3rd round late TKO. I'll get Frosty.
All righty. So wait, you said TKO for Joshua Van?
Yeah, late 3rd round TKO.
That'll be interesting. We're going to differ on this one. First fight that we're going to go different ways on. But moving down the card here, Eddie, we have a lightweight matchup between Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano, 2 world-class jiu-jitsu practitioners. Eddie, when we've seen these guys who are jiu-jitsu guys go against each other, a lot of the time it ends up being a striking matchup. Neither of these guys necessarily the greatest striker in the world, but who do you favor in this matchup?
I don't care. It's 2 overrated fucking lightweights.
I think Beneil's a little old.
Right?
Whoa, wait. Do you think they let Beneil show the Iran flag on Saturday? I didn't even realize that.
Dana White doesn't tell his fighters to shut the fuck up. You better let him. Let him. Don't no, and not to mention Beneil, you know, he's I don't think he'll take the Iran flag. I think he'll go up there with the American flag or something like that. But
did anyone ask him about that at Media Day?
I haven't watched his Media Day yet. I didn't do that write up yet, so I'll find out. But I doubt it. I think anyone asked him. I think how do I put it? Let's just say your question to Jonathan Coachman about Francis Ngannou is tougher than any question they'll ever ask at any MMA media or any UFC media day.
Oh, you think?
Oh, we get shit all the time. I get shit all the time. Like, what you motherfuckers don't ask tough questions. Okay. Yeah. I get it. No one does. Why don't you go bitch at the other guys that sit up in the front row about that? Not me. I don't know what the fuck that. I get the 8th or 9th question. I don't have any tough questions at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah. No. In my opinion, this is a nothing burger. It's just hopefully it's a good fight. Hopefully they end up throwing. Benil can hit like a truck too.
Yeah, he's got a good left hand.
He's got a really good left hand. So it'll be a fun fight, I think. But it doesn't matter. The winner doesn't get shit.
I know. Yeah. It's one of those that I think is going to be an all-action banger. I actually think this might be a dark horse for fight of the night, maybe a sneaky good fight here between these guys.
With Renato in there, it could definitely be fight of the night because that dude just wants his money, Moicano.
Yeah,
I want my money.
I'm going to go with Moicano. I'm going to go with Moicano TKO in the 3rd round. I think this is going to be an absolute brawl for 2 rounds leading up to a finish in the 3rd.
I'm with it.
So we both go Moicano here. Quickly before we move, what is the odds on this one?
Let me see.
Scroll down here.
Sorry, Power Slap has fucking weigh-ins tomorrow, which is
pretty close.
That is really close, but I still like Renato, the Renato pick.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm the same pick as you.
Yep. So moving down the card here, we do have 2 more matchups at least that we need to talk about quickly. Peyton Talbot returns off of. He's going to take on Felipe Lima. I'm going to take Felipe Lima. I think he's one of the most physical forces in this weight division. And I've been really impressed with him so far. I think he's uber talented and is going to be somebody that we're going to be watching moving forward. But Peyton Talbot looked tremendous leading up until that last fight, but looked god-awful in that last performance.
He looked terrible that last one out. So I expect Peyton to come back better. And do Felipe Lima, do you ever watch any of his stuff in Octagon MMA?
No, I haven't.
Dude, this kid's fucking good. Like, it's weird that we're getting this matchup now, but I'm down. I'm with it, dude. I'm with it. I'm glad it's on the main card. This should not be buried in the prelims. But if I had to make a pick, Peyton Talbot.
Are you really?
Decision.
So I think the Miles Johns victory for Felipe Lima was actually better than any of Peyton Talbot's wins. And when you look at Talbot, he just lost to Ronnie Barcelos, who I know didn't do terrible last time, or he just recently fought either last week or the week before. He picked up a win, I believe. But I just don't. I think the hype train for Talbot has kind of came and gone. I'm going to go with Lima. I just think he's going to be a little better. But we look at here, 5'6" to 5'10". You think that's going to be a big problem?
I think that's going to be an issue for something that Talbot can take advantage of. It's just, can he is the question, right? So I'm kind of going on a limb saying like, yeah, I'm gonna take Peyton, but and Lima's a dog, so he could definitely pull it off. But I think it's gonna be a close fight, Peyton by decision, and probably not a super exciting fight.
Yeah, I'm going to go Felipe by decision, but I think this one goes the distance as well.
Yeah.
Moving down the card to a fight I do not think goes the distance is between 2 jiu-jitsu practitioners that Gregory Rodriguez was at least in the rankings at one point in time. Jack Hermanson stays in the rankings to this day. 24-8 for Hermanson, 16-6 for the RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. Hermanson had a big win against Joe Pyfer last time out, but has taken a substantial amount of time away from the cage since returning. Gregory Rodriguez has been active, but recently has not looked as great as when we saw him on his first push in the UFC. Who do you like in this one? I've leaned towards the side of Rodriguez, but I've seen Jack Hermanson spoil a lot of guys' parties.
I've seen Jack Hermanson literally turn and run like a track star against Chris Curtis.
Yeah.
Chris Curtis, not against fucking, let me pull up his bullshit. It's like he didn't run from Joe. No, I think he ran from Joe Pyfer too. Like, he wins when he runs.
His movement's great. He's very quick-footed.
100%. Yeah, but it's not because he's trying to like do a fighting move. He's literally running away. Once he gets a couple rounds on you, that 3rd round, he's gonna be fucking doing this shit the entire time. So what does Gregory Rodriguez need to do? Put him the fuck out in the 1st round. Got to do it. Got to happen. Otherwise,
Gregory gets him.
Jack's gonna hit and move, or stick and move. And if Gregory can't put him down, Jack's gonna take the decision and bore us all to fucking tears.
Yeah, I like Jack Hermanson by decision in this one, but here's the thing. I think that he had a grappling advantage a little bit against Joe. He was able to get him to the ground late in those rounds, and Joe actually gassed in that fight. I believe it was a 5-round main event. Only 3 rounds in this one with RoboCop. Do you think Jack can get RoboCop to the ground? I don't. And if it plays out on the feet, he obviously doesn't have the power RoboCop has, but it comes down to the quickness that you were talking about.
He can take him down, but you better keep his ass down. If you can't keep RoboCop down and he keeps popping up, after a while, not only does it make you tired and from shooting and everything, he's going to figure out your shot and the way you like to do it, and he's going to land something on you and put you to sleep. So I think Gregory needs to come out and not blow his wad early, but when he lands on Jack, he needs to make it count because Jack's going to move a lot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let me see what the odds are on this motherfucker. Yeah, Gregory.
Ooh, they got RoboCop as the favorite.
Yeah, I'm taking RoboCop decision on this one.
Ooh, it's hard for me to take RoboCop by decision. I think that if he gets this one done, like you said, it's probably early.
Yeah.
Man, this is a tough one to call. I'm going to go with RoboCop by knockout in the first round. Just like you said, if he catches him early, I think he's going to get him out of there. He's got a lot of first-round finishes himself, and I think that the ground game of each of these two guys kind of nullifies each other.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
So moving down the card, Eddie, we got one more fight that we should talk about. Jose Delgado is going to fight Hyder Emil. Hyder Emil is undersized for this weight class, Eddie, but stays undefeated. Every time he goes out there, he gives up weight, or he gives up height and reach, but it doesn't seem to be a problem for this guy. He gets inside on everybody. Very powerful, has good takedowns as well. I'm going to go with Hyder Emil in this one. By decision, which way are you going?
You going Hyder decision?
Yeah.
Damn, it's a tough one. I like Jose a lot.
I do too. I think this is a great fight.
I like Jose a lot, but Hyder trains out there with Gil, right? Gilbert Melendez. So he's got the ability to go to scrap, right? And scrap pack, whatever. But he's got the ability to brawl. And he hits like a truck. Every time Hyder hits, it's like, oh, what the fuck? But Jose is very durable. He's tough. He's very skilled. I'm taking Jose by an upset decision here.
Wow. Okay, what's the odds on this?
No odds
yet over there on FanDuel. Plus 135, Hyder Emil, minus 170 for Jose Delgado.
There you go. So I'm gonna take Jose by indecision, but Hyder has that fucking knockout power, man. It's gonna be fun to watch.
And his mental game, really, to me, is what stands out most to him. You mentioned the coaching. I think he's got a great coach in Melendez. I think that he's got a good head on his shoulders. That Melendez kind of has that voice in his head that he listens to in fight, like, oh, what would Gil be telling me right now in training? Mm-hmm. I think that Hyder is very smart. I think he's skilled with the wrestling and grappling, and then I also think he's got power in his hands. I'm going to take Hyder Emil as my upset underdog this week.
That sounds good.
Any other fight that you think we should get to quick before we close out? We've got Vivian Araújo, Tracy Cortez. I'm going to take Tracy. I'm going to take Borishev over McKinney. And I'll take Jacoby Smith over Nico Price.
Let's see. Okay, I'm going Tracy. I'm going Slavoclaz. Yeah, Slavoclaz. Poor Nico Price. I'm taking Jacoby by murder. No one cares about this fight. And
who is Alvin Hines? Do you know much about Alvin Hines?
No, but thanks for reminding me. Gumby, Daniel Vreeland from Cageside Press, Danny Vreeland. He interviewed him, and I actually have to go upload his interview with him. So thanks for the reminder. But yeah, I don't know. Who cares, honestly. But Denise, tough dude. So we'll see. I
think the card really starts in that Hermanson versus RoboCop fight.
Boy.
But fight fans, you can catch that one on Saturday night. Reminder, the PFL is on Friday night on ESPN Plus. You can also order that IFW pay-per-view on ESPN Plus as well. And we will bring you guys any news and breaking updates, and also recap the fight card next Wednesday at 7:00. Thanks for joining us.